or things haven't really worked out, is maybe even with the best of intentions, you might be at a quite early and vulnerable stage in your like business or your career. You're establishing yourself, and I think sometimes with friends, people can sometimes get the vim with you that they might not have elsewhere. Like maybe this is the first time they're practicing, their business voice and stuff like that. So I would say being clear and open about sort of what you would like to get out of you two working together, and as much as you can, take away the "this is my friend" out into the situation. Now, the reason I say that is because sometimes you might have to be a bit more frank, direct, and blunt than you might ordinarily be with your friend in normal friend-to-friend conversations. But like we talked about today, if you recognize yourself as like a business and a brand, and recognize them as a business, as a brand, and try and keep the conversation there, I think that's the best way to at least start entering into those conversations that I've found.
It's good to work with friends, of course, having the trust there with your friend and potentially achieving great things. On the other hand, if things don't go quite right, you don't want to lose that friendship. So it's a very difficult decision to actually embark upon this process or this venture with my friend. If you've decided that you are going to, then it is important to try to remove that aspect of certainly the agreements that you're making, etc., and to try to really think about, well, this friendship is actually more important than if we were just two independent people coming together to work together. So therefore, it's even more important that we should be documenting things that we agree, making sure that responsibilities are clear, etc. One of the things, in reality, things can and do go wrong. And the question is, when that happens, how does it get resolved? Ultimately, it's going to be the contract that you've entered into, really. And going into business with a friend, it has the hallmarks of a marriage in a way, you could say. And it's just really important to make sure everyone's clear from the beginning what is expected of them. One of the things that I see in friendship situations or family situations is that when everything started off, everything was fine, everyone was doing their bit, but then all of a sudden, one person starts to do a lot less or nothing. And that's when it can become a bit of an issue as well. And if there's nothing in writing which says, okay, well, you're responsible for this side because this is what you're good at, I'm responsible for this bit because this is what I'm good at, and that's why we're doing it together, then it's not going to work. It's going to be very difficult and put strain or it can put strain on the friendship ultimately. So I would say very much approach a friendship situation in the same way as if it wasn't a friendship situation, because it's more important to try to preserve the friendship by doing that than not.
If you're going to obviously start to become an influencer, if you're going in that direction, and you obviously get your friends to take your pictures for you, at a certain stage, either hire a photographer or pay your friend, because it's like at this point you can actually going to get to the point where it's like, I'm spending my whole weekend taking your photos, but you haven't paid them, but that person's now getting paid. And then in the future, say if you guys, say for example, just fall out and they're like, actually, I took all 100 of those pictures, I didn't get any payment for that, they can now come back in the future. So things like that can put less of a strain where they feel like they're actually like part of the thing and they're helping you and you're growing your career and you're doing it together. I've seen a lot of people do that. They either hire an assistant or hire their friend and they actually make it all official, and it really benefits everybody and works both ways.
I mean, even, I've had situations with my brand where even with the best of endeavors, I can't support and sustain it the way big commercial brands can. So I do things, for example, that I kind of just give them an equity stake. So as soon as we start seeing less than minus, we just agree what the percentage is. I put it in an agreement, we sign it, and it means that later down the line, God willing, the money starts flowing in, and then everybody who was an early investor in that will be able to, I probably am able to negotiate something like that because it's my friend. But that's a good way that you can sort of say to someone, I recognize how early in the game this is, but without your help on the weekends taking my picture. I mean, I don't know, where do you guys stand on paying partners?
I think that's weird.
I have a boyfriend, so I have someone to take my nice little Insta dinner picture But I have no intention of paying this person.
It depends. It really depends.
It does depend. I mean, if your partner's something like a photographer
Yeah.
or videographer professionally, I feel like that's also a great way to show that you know, respect and value them. But yeah, I think having those kinds of conversations can make a friend feel, they value me, and they respect what I'm adding in.